Today it's a special pleasure to introduce Dr. Dena Evans, and I'm going to read off a string of things that she works hard to get every one of them. EDD, NPH, MSN, RN, CNL, and CNE is a nationally recognized nursing leader, educator, and administrator with over 20 years experience spanning higher education, public health, and clinical leadership. She currently serves as the Dean and Professor at the College of Nursing at ETSU, or East Tennessee State University. She's originally from rural North Carolina. Dr. Evans has built her career around advancing health equity and academic excellence, particularly in rural and underserved communities. She's a Wharton Fellow, a graduate of the Harvard Institute for Management and Leadership in Education, a certified nurse educator, a CNE, and a clinical nurse leader, a CNL. Dr. Evans has held leadership roles across multiple institutions, including the University of South Florida, UNC Charlotte, where she served as Vice Dean and Associate Dean and Director of Nursing. Her areas of expertise include curriculum innovation, academic practice partnerships, workforce development, and public health policy. She has secured over $10 million in external funding to support these initiatives over her career. She is widely published, and I've checked it out, and if you Google her, she's well Googled. She's done a lot and been very active in everything. In both state and national levels, Dr. Evans continues to shape the future of nursing through her commitment to leadership, education, and equity-driven health systems. She's married to Patrick, and her favorite things, well, she has a few dogs in the house. Miss Daisy and Miss Charlotte are blonde golden retrievers, and there's one over there that's her husband's that she didn't really want to talk about because he's getting old and cranky. But that's Henry, and she loves reading, canning, chow chow, and jelly to give to people, and she loves to cook. With no further, please give us a warmest welcome to Ms. Dena Evans.
Thanks to everyone for inviting me today. I'm really excited to come and share some of the great things that are going on at the ETSU College of Nursing. I only have 15 minutes to talk to you about this. I've been here since January the 2nd, and I could probably talk to you about all that we've been doing for the whole week. We've been really busy. So I wanted to start out with making sure that my clicker is not working for me. Anyway, when I interviewed around this time last year, I had the opportunity to do a lot of research on the ETSU College of Nursing and try to understand the culture of the college and look at the structure and the infrastructure that they had. And so when I came, I was fortunate because I'd had that opportunity to do that because I already knew what I needed to do as soon as I hit the ground. So this is part of a presentation that I recently did for our fall kickoff for the College of Nursing. And it focuses on the things that we've done in this past year, but also what we're going to be doing moving forward. And I'm going to talk to you today about our marketing efforts, the infrastructure that we're building, increasing our footprint here in Kingsport, an award that we won. I hope you heard a little bit about it because I'm really excited about it. Our enrollment and new projects and pathways that are underway, being developed right now. I am not technically challenged. Okay, so one of the things that I noticed when I came, or even before I came, was that the ETSU College of Nursing needed to elevate its presence or its reputation or its brand, if you will, not just locally, but statewide, nationally, and internationally. So there have been no intentional marketing campaigns done for this college, really ever. So that was one of the first things that I did. How many of you have noticed some of the billboards up? Okay, pretty good return on investment. Maybe you're just driving too fast and just whiz by it. But our enrollment numbers on main campus are pretty steady, but it's our Sevierville and our Kingsport campuses that had low enrollment. And anecdotally, when we'd see people out in the community, it was like, well, I didn't know that you could get your BSN in Sevierville. I didn't really know that you could do that in Kingsport. So obviously, we had some work to do. So we did new rack cards. I passed those out there on your table. New rack cards for every program, but we broke it down. So we have one for Johnson City, we have one for Kingsport, we have one for Sevierville, we have a billboard for Kingsport, one for Sevierville, and one for Johnson City. So they've already been up about a year. They're going to go for another 3 years until you're really sick of looking at it. So they're still going to be out there. We also increased our social media presence. If you're active on social media, they did not have a Facebook presence. They did not have a LinkedIn presence, or what's that other one? Instagram presence. So we have all of those now, and so you can really follow what's going on in the college through that as well. We also, for the first time ever, have sponsored not only some local conferences, but statewide conferences, national conferences, and international conferences. And as you probably know, when you sponsor, you get your name out there on all sorts of things at these large conferences. We have key conferences that we do. One of the ones I'm most proud about that we're sponsoring, we're going to be the diamond sponsor for this, is the Southern Nursing Research Conference, SNRS. And that is attended by all the colleges of nursing in the South. And most of those are research institutions. You know, those are R1, high research. We're in R2, but we want to be in R1 eventually. So I hope I get to go so I can see everybody's face. Like, who's that? East Tennessee State University. I haven't heard of it, but they're going to hear of us. They're going to hear about it. Wanted to let you know where those billboards are located. Again, Johnson City, we have one at exit 23 and one on I-26. And you can see what the billboard for Kingsport looks like in our new rack cards. The other thing that we're doing in terms of Kingsport, when I came and I looked at the enrollment here in Kingsport, originally we were always supposed to admit 30 students, never hit that target. And so the enrollment was, the last time that we enrolled there in the spring, we had 7 students and then we had 5 students. So obviously we want to reach our target, we've got to do something. So I did a little more digging into that, and that program here at Kingsport was originally really kind of a partnership also with Ballot Health. And advertising what that, being a member of that cohort could do for a student was not done. So now we have new advertisements for students. Hey, if you're going to join the Kingsport cohort, I'm working with Ballot to come up with a joint logo for that. You're going to be a Ballot Buccaneer. That's what I've named. It just came off the top of my head, Ballot Buccaneer. And there are all sorts of different perks that they're going to get, making the students feel like they're special because they are, because this is a great place. And all of their clinical, for the most part, would be done at Holston Valley. We'll see how that advertising goes when we admit our next cohort in January. We also have traveled, going back to our marketing. The faculty in the College of Nursing have historically traveled locally in the state, but we've increased our travel for the faculty not only to present, but also to host booths at these conferences. Again, trying to make people aware of the ETSU College of Nursing. In terms of Allendale campus, how many of you have heard that we've taken the BSN program and put it at Kingsport's Higher Ed Center? How many of you heard that? You have an N. We talk a lot. So, but we've advertised that we've done that. There's a reason why I did that. So on the Allendale campus, again, the enrollment was going down and it was going down. But meanwhile, on the Johnson City campus, I had a research enterprise spread out all over the building in Nick's Hall. So we've actually increased our presence in Kingsport by taking that space that we had on the Allendale site. We've moved our nurse-family partnerships onto those floors. We actually employ 15 College of Nursing staff there. They go out and they provide essential services to clients in the 13 counties. And one of the big reasons for doing this is that they're approved for expansion. And they are also applying for another type of funding to provide child health, and that's going to bring in another 8 to 10 staff members. Meanwhile, we still have our nursing program in Kingsport with a target of between 30 to 50 students. So starting in spring 2026, the nursing students will move here with a target of between 30 to 50 students. And again, this is where increasing our advertising and our marketing, we hope to target the students to come to this site and be a Ballad Buccaneer. That's the new rack card and the advertisement for that program. Any questions about that?
What are your demographics as far as attendees, particularly within the state of Tennessee, or Georgia, and Alabama, and all around?
For our undergraduate program, primarily Tennessee. Very rarely do we get an out-of-state student. We do, but primarily Tennessee.
So is the tuition rate the same for in-state and out-of-state?
It is. It is. Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
It's not a question, it's just a comment. I'm the vice chair of our higher ed commission here in town, and I really, really thank you for that decision to bring the program to the center. That is huge, and that's not just huge for Dobbins Bennett grads and in the local community, but as you have said, for the entire ETSU family. So thank you for that, and that is amazingly appreciated.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Okay. These are just a list of some of those conferences I was telling you about that we've either sponsored or attended, getting ETSU's name out there so that we can be a nationally ranked program. I don't know if you saw this, but we have the number 2 best FMP program in the state, number 1 RN to BSN program in the state as well. But I'm more so aiming for some U.S. News and World Report rankings. That's a high bar, but we've got to get out there and get people to make people aware of us and what the great things that we're doing. I've also focused very, very heavily on building team. There had been a lot of turnover in the College of Nursing when I came. So you think about it, I've only been here since January. And so these are all of the new hires since I've been here in January, just for infrastructure. The other thing that's important to know about the College of Nursing is that because we didn't have a great infrastructure for some of the things that we need to do, guess who was doing that? Faculty. Faculty were doing it. And then if faculty are doing that, what are they not doing? They're not doing teaching, scholarship, and service. So by building this infrastructure, that's really the plan. So we're currently in active searches for student success educators, an executive director for student success, clinical onboarding specialist, a director of academic clinical affairs, and for the first time ever, we're using a national search firm to find our next associate dean for research. That position's been empty about almost 3 years. So these are in addition to the slide that I showed you just a minute ago. These should all be in place by the spring, if not before. The Academic Student Success Center that we're building is brand new, and we're also using these individuals to create a Department of Academic Clinical Affairs. So the Academic Student Success Center will be on the 3rd floor of Nix Hall, and there we'll have the executive director and our student success educators. Initially, my plan is for them to work with just the students that we have. So now if a student is struggling in a class, let's say they make less than a passing grade on their first test, it's up to the faculty to then bring those students in and work with those students. Again, taking the faculty away from what they're doing in the classroom. So this will be an all-inclusive center right in the College of Nursing to work with those students and create performance improvement plans for them, track their NCLEX pass rate, make sure that they're ready to take the NCLEX because we're going to get evaluated on that NCLEX score. The Department of Academic Clinical Affairs will be responsible for onboarding and credentialing all of the new students, and that's a huge job. Also securing new clinical sites for students because that's a limiting factor for us. We could admit 1,000 students, but we've got to have places to put them clinically. So these people will also be working on finding additional clinical sites, not only in Tennessee, but adjoining states. And I've already said to faculty that we're going to have to start doing evening and weekend clinicals because everybody else is, and that's a good place to find some clinical sites. We won an award. Did you all hear about this? Okay. So we won silver recognition from Better Workplaces Tennessee. Dr. Debbie Bird, who is the dean for the College of Pharmacy, was interim dean for a year before I came. And she kind of started this, but then when I came in January, I picked it up. So this is about creating an environment where people work, they enjoy working there. It's about trauma-informed practices. It's about empathy. We're weaving empathy through our curriculum. We are making sure that faculty, it's kind of like a mindset. You never know what someone else is going through. Always assume goodwill. We're the only school of nursing in the state of Tennessee, the only college to have received this award. And there are 2 more levels, so we're going to try and get to those 2, gold and platinum. We're also monitoring enrollment trends. I've already told you a little bit about it, but this is just fall 24 to fall 25, keeping in mind that we admit in Kingsport in the spring, so that's not on here. So you can see that our enrollment for undergrad in Johnson City is ticking up. That's one of the goals, is to increase that, but to do it slowly, do it strategically once those infrastructure supports are in place. You can see that in Sevierville, I also have an issue. That's another site that we have that has never hit their target enrollment. So we had 10 last fall. We had 7 this fall. It has a full staff, faculty. We have like 5 faculty, 7 students, plus some staff and a smaller simulation lab. So fingers crossed that these marketing campaigns work for us. Our DNP programs is doing okay. I'm really excited to announce that our PhD program this time around ended up having 5 students, which doesn't seem like much, but for a PhD program, that's pretty on par. So I'll be excited to share these numbers with you next year, and hopefully we'll see an uptick in some of the other ones. This is what I'm focused on this year, programs and pathways. So currently I'm working on a CRNA program, Certified Registered Nurse Anesthetist program. We have a consultant right now who's coming in to take a look at the resources that we have to identify what it is that we need. I'm in conversations with Ballot about this as well to see any sort of support that they can provide. And primarily what we need is for the hospital to say that these students will get all of the OR cases that they need in order to graduate from the program, and they won't be bumped out. At UNC Charlotte, I had this program and everything was going well until that med school came. And then those physician students started getting top billing for the OR. Also working on a DNP, a Doctor of Nursing Practice, that the student can enroll in that DNP program and at the same time be working on their MBA. This is the same pathway that the Quillen College of Medicine has and the Gatton College of Pharmacy. So starting in the fall, our nursing students will have that option too. Also working on a military and veterans cohort to give those students the special support that they need. Another one is a direct entry freshman pathway. They're going to be called nerds. You can imagine the marketing I'm going to do. It's going to be fun. So right now, students have to wait until they're getting ready to go into their junior year to apply for the upper division. And that's a marketing problem for us because they can go to some of these other colleges and already know as a freshman that they have a seat in the program. So when you see parents out, well, my baby already knows they got into UTK, how come they don't know? They have to wait. So now if they come in and they meet certain criteria, they are coded as nerds, and they keep that seat. It's their seat to lose, but they're guaranteed a seat as long as they maintain those criteria throughout the program. Also looking at a direct entry master's program. We had someone to call us not long ago, just last month, who was a PA who wanted to get into the nursing program. Because he wants to be a CRNA, you have to be an RN first. And based on his transcript, the best we could do is say, well, you've got to start out and get your BSN first, finish that, then you go get your MSN. But if we had this generic direct entry MSN, they could come right in and skip over the BSN actually and just get their master's degree. So trying to make it easier. And the other thing, again, focusing on those low enrollment programs. So goals coming up for the next year, expand those academic pathways. I'm also working, if you don't know, the Tennessee Center for Nursing Advancement is a part of the College of Nursing. So I'm partnering with the Tennessee Center for Nursing Advancement to create what's called a Future Nurse Scholars Pipeline. This is actually, believe it or not, us going into some of these schools as early as kindergarten and having activities for those students all the way through. Hopefully, they will then fuel our direct entry freshman pathway. That's a long time to dedicate students, but the earlier you get to them, they'll either know they want to do it or they're like, that's not for me, instead of waiting until they get in the program and say, you want me to do what? No, I'm out. We've had that happen before too. Complete the infrastructure build. We're also working on faculty development series so that faculty can really benefit from the expertise of people that we have at our own college and across campus, and award them continuing education units in-house. And also seeking some philanthropic support for some initiatives like growing our scholarship offerings. So, you know, I came from USF and all the UNC system, and we had so many nursing scholarships. Some years it was really difficult to give them away. We only had $119,000 to give to students in scholarships. We don't have a lot of scholarships. And sometimes it doesn't take much money at all. So that's another thing that I would like to see us increase. The other thing is to help support some study abroad opportunities. I was fortunate enough to be able to go on what was called the Nightingale Harlexton experience, which is over in England, and to be able, with the sole purpose of trying to figure out how we could do something similar for our students here. The whole purpose was to be able to go around and take a look at the national health system so they could compare and contrast. You know, how is it over there? How is it over here? And to engage that way. It was fabulous, a fabulous opportunity. But I don't want it to be a case of the haves and the have-nots like it usually is. So the students who can afford it get to go, and the ones that don't can't go. So if we had some support, people who really valued that type of opportunity to support those students, primarily our first-gen students, that would be nice. Support for our white coat ceremony and pinning ceremonies, and then if anybody knows anybody that wants to name that college of nursing, let me know. Can't be anything hard to spell, but just saying. That's an opportunity to do a lot with the college, endow professorships, and to sponsor some of these other initiatives that we have. And then the entire university, including all the colleges, are currently starting to engage in strategic planning for next year, and you pretty much see where mine's going. So I've been working on this since last year, really. So strategic planning. That's all we've been up to. Not really all, but all I have time for. So, any questions or comments?